Hello, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Depends obviously when you're picking up the video. Welcome to Glasgow Rangers Nation with me, your host, Owen James, the channel that brings you your team every single day, guys. We are building up towards this game against Aberdeen on Wednesday, and it is, I don't know what it is really. It's a strange one, isn't it? I think the bookies still put Rangers as firm favourites. We've got some people talking as if Aberdeen are the favourites for the game on Wednesday, given the fact, obviously, that they're higher in the league table. A huge game, a massive game already here in this season, which is only 9 games old. 8 o'clock kickoff at Photography. We will be there bringing you a live watch along, guys. Please obviously come and join us for that. Real watch along, absolute, genuine, proper watch along with an alternative commentary. And let's face it, alternative comments and a bit of comedy there in the live chat. You always bring that anyway. But the league table looks, well, fairly depressing going into the game on Wednesday night, doesn't it, really? Celtic's at top of the league on 25 points. They've won 8, they've drawn 1, no defeats, 27 goals for, only 3 conceded. Pretty dominant so far from Brendan Rodgers' Celtic. Aberdeen under new manager Jimmy Thielen sits second. Which is a miracle considering we know that it takes 6 months to a year to settle in a new formation style and way of playing, if you believe our manager. 9 games, 8 wins, 1 draw, and no defeats. 18 goals, 8 against, a goal difference of 10. That's why they're second, but still undefeated. Aberdeen and Rangers sit third. Played 9, won 6, drawn 1, lost 2. The 2 defeats coming to Celtic and to Killie. Not great, really, is it? Not great at all to be sitting already some 6 points behind both Aberdeen and Celtic, with the league having a slightly 80s look to it, doesn't it? A slightly Sir Alex Ferguson kind of look to the league at this moment in time. Look, this game on Wednesday night is huge. It is absolutely huge. It's almost season defining in a way. I think a defeat and we go, 9 points probably behind Celtic. They'll probably win. 9 points behind Aberdeen. And you've got to kind of say that at that point, realistically, are we going to make 9 points back on Celtic? I very much doubt it. And, I'll be honest with you, I don't think there's any chance we win the league this season. I think there's somewhere between 0 and fuck all chance that we win the league, to be honest with you. But look, Wednesday night is the Battle of Barron. Yes, Conor Barron returns to his former club and no doubt will be welcomed back with open arms and genuine love from the Aberdonians. I'm sure he will be. He won't be booed, catcalled, and referred to in rude terms on a frequent basis at all on Wednesday night. So it really is the Battle of Barron. Now, I read a comment, rather surprisingly, already. Apparently, the transfer tribunal fee for the player hasn't even been set as well. So, apparently that's still out for argument. Rangers did offer, I think, £500,000 or £525,000, which was turned down by Aberdeen. So it does go to a tribunal, which still hasn't taken place, which is quite weird that we're already this far into the season and no tribunal has taken place to set the fee for Conor Barron. I think that's very odd indeed and very inefficient and very bad business by the SFA, SPL, whoever's doing that. Very strange tribunal. I don't know who it is. Perhaps it's Conor's mum. I don't know who it is. Perhaps it's Conor's mum, Conor's dad in Aberdeen. I don't know who's doing it. Someone's doing it anyway. So, look, I think, we're going to talk obviously about Conor Barron today. We're going to talk about Nicholas Raskin today. I think, these two Rottweilers, as they've been termed, have kind of played themselves into a dominant position in that pivot 2 in front of the defence. And I really hope that Philippe Clement, going into the game on Wednesday night, sticks with these two. That when we see the team announced on Wednesday night, that it is Raskin and Barron that are in that 6 and 8 role. Barron's given a bit more freedom to get forward, which you've seen in the last few games. Barron's been played more as the 8, Raskin as the 6. And I think, that's really suited him. So, hopefully that will continue. And I think the other positive, I think, we've seen these two described as Rottweilers, as providing that steel, that bite, that physical presence to Rangers midfield. And it's certainly something that Rangers have been crying out for a long time, to have that physicality, have that bite, have that intensity in midfield. And I certainly think that Conor and Nicholas Raskin provide that. And the other thing I think as well is that Raskin and Barron both provide something that Rangers have been badly missing over the last couple of seasons, which is legs, speed, endurance, physicality in midfield. Something that, we haven't had since 55, since Kamara, for instance, brought that. He was absolutely superb in that role. Stephen Davis as well. But, I think we really do miss, that. And I think Raskin and Barron are really trying to recapture those days with their performances. And look, I think, there's not a lot of positivity sort of swirling around the club at the moment. There's a lot of negativity towards the manager, who I agree is talking a lot of shite most of the time. The formation's not great. The tactics are not great. The football's not great. The style's non-existent. But, we've got to try and find the positives within that, that complete pig's ear. You're trying to make was it pig's ear? Was it some ear? I don't know. Something about making a purse out of a pig's ear. I don't know what it was, but it was just some saying about that, isn't there? I can't remember what it is. Some sort of weird English idiom. But, Barron and Raskin have kind of been the silver lining to the grey cloud, haven't they? They've been the one kind of positive that we've kind of taken out of the last couple of games. Raskin's performances, Barron's performances have been very good indeed. The constant work rate, the ability to get stuck in, the ability to fight hard, the ability to win the ball. Now, Nicholas Raskin, for example, I know Nicholas has missed an awful lot of football. He's been injured. He's been, he's missed so much time. And when he has come back, he perhaps hasn't delivered to the extent that he did when we first signed him. I think, we can all admit that when Raskin first arrives at Rangers from Standard Liège, and in that second half of that season, his first part of his season with Rangers under Michael Beale, Raskin looks fantastic. He looks a brilliant signing. And I think a lot of us were talking about him, and Todd Cantwell has been the players to build this team round. And then he kind of dropped off. He got injured a lot, and it all kind of fell apart a little bit for Nicholas. But I think, he's come back a lot stronger. He's come back. He's playing well. I think the one thing that the manager's kind of done well, I think, look, we've got to kind of try and find things to praise Philippe Clement about, because I think whether we like it or not, we're probably stuck with him till the end of the season. But Raskin has done very well in that 6 role. He really has kind of come in and tried his best to make that 6 role his own. He really has done very well there. The way he uses the ball, the way he gets stuck in, the way he offers that little bit of bite, that little bit of attacking nous as well. He looks so much more comfortable as that 6. He receives the ball well from the back 4. He can turn away from pressure. He's not opposed to dropping into the middle of defense as well to get the ball. He's helping to improve the build-up as well through his passing and his range of passing. I think we've really kind of stumbled upon something that Raskin is kind of a 6, and he is a potential to be a very good 6. And I think Raskin himself has got to kind of embrace this role and take on this role. If you look at that role of the 6, that role of the 6 has kind of become an essential part of every football team. I know, growing up when I was young, which was a long time ago, it was about playing as a striker, playing as a winger, being that attacking threat, taking players on, beating them, scoring goals. And then the 10 kind of grew in importance, didn't it? It was all about the 10. It was all about the Bergkamp-esque 10, the Gaza-esque, the Laudrup-esque 10 that would, beat Baggio-esque, that would beat 5-6 players, score the wonder goal. But now it seems that the 6 is very much becoming the key position in football. The quarterback of the team, the director, the conductor, the man who sits at the base of the midfield, breaks stuff up and starts attacks. And we've seen just last night, Rodri, who is the classic 6, win the Ballon d'Or. Congratulations to Rodri, despite obviously the protestations of Real Madrid, who genuinely are becoming a absolutely classless, arrogant club. They really genuinely are. But Raskin's kind of sort of become that 6, hasn't he? And I think, Nicholas, if he can embrace this role as a 6, if he can really make this role his own, get the recoveries right, get the tackles right, use the ball well, start attacks off, he's got the potential to really go on and show himself to be a top-class 6. And I think there is such a demand in the world now for these 6s. We saw Liverpool trying to splash the cash on Zubimendi, for example. We saw, Chelsea go after Caicedo and Lavia to fill those roles. We saw, Arsenal pay a fortune for Mikel Merino. We've seen, the top English clubs paying vast sums of money, Agate to Manchester United, for these 6s. And, Raskin, if he wants to go and play in the Premier League, which he's talked about, which got him a lot of criticism, then, if he can make this 6 role his own, if he can really demonstrate that he is the classic 6, he's really got a potential to go on and actually succeed. And I think that starts Wednesday night. He's got to build on what he's done the last couple of games and how he's shown up in the last couple of games and really take this role on to the next level. Now, I think he's been very much assisted by Connor Barron. Now, for Connor, this is a massive game. Of course, it's a massive game. He goes back to his former club. He will receive that archetypal warm Aberdonian welcome, which will involve abuse and all sorts of horrible things being slung at him. But, it's a real chance for Connor to continue that development that he's kind of had recently. He's kind of grown more into an 8 role, really. He's getting forward a little bit more. He's using the ball a lot better. And I think it's hard to argue, but, Connor Barron has been probably one of the players of the season so far. He's probably been the player of the season in the way he's performed so far. He's a lad who is always willing to receive the ball. He's always willing to get into a tackle. If he loses a tackle, he's back up and trying to win the second one. His work rate and his work ethic is absolutely brilliant. And I absolutely love Connor Barron to bits. I really genuinely do. I think he's up there with Big Leon as one of my favourite players at this moment in time. But Wednesday night is going to be huge for him. He's going to want to go back to Pittodrie and prove that he's made the right decision to move to Rangers, prove that he's, taken the right decision in his career. Aberdeen were putting pressure on him last season to sign a new deal. He turned that down. So, it's down to Connor to really go up there and prove himself. And I think, like I said, one of the positives, perhaps the only positives to come out of Rangers in recent times, and there hasn't been a lot, has there, is Raskin and Barron. They have been absolutely excellent, absolutely phenomenal, really, really good. Now, I was reading through X last night whilst I was walking the dog, and one of the comments, one of the tweets, one of the X's, whatever you want to call them these days, that really stood out to me was something that CJ Novo said. CJ said that as far as he's concerned, that you can add everything up, you can do all the fancy mathematics that you want, you can do all the fancy looking at teams that you want, but Leon Balogun is still by far and away our best defender, which is slightly worrying considering his age. But I would agree with that. I'd say that Big Leon has been absolutely fabulous. He's been absolutely brilliant this season when he's played, and he was great again. At the weekend, I thought he was fabulous, and I'm really hoping that Big Leon is fit, that he's able to start. Against Aberdeen on Wednesday, I would really start Big Leon. I think, if you look at what Big Leon brings to the party, if you look at his, his abilities, his talents, his skills, his speed, still even at 36, his ability to use that speed to get out of trouble. Big Leon is just different class. He really genuinely is, and I really hope that the manager, Big Phil, shows a bit of faith in Big Leon. Puts Leon in there against Aberdeen. I don't think we've got anything to lose. I think he's by far the best defender. And if you look at how bad Proper was, hopefully Suter will be fit. I really do hope that John Suter is back. He's fit. He's good to go for Wednesday night. But if he isn't, I think you can go with Cass there. I mean, look, if people are fit, and I think this is the big question is who's fit, who isn't fit. I would honestly go with this lineup on Wednesday night. I would look at this lineup and look at the fact that we need to be as strong, as big, as quick, as physical as possible against an Aberdeen team that, reading what's coming out of Pittodrie at the moment, reading what is being said in the media, really do fancy their chances at the moment of getting something from this game. I genuinely believe that this is a game that we need to really push and really be that physical presence, really offer something different in attack, really kind of push it a little bit and try our best to do what we can to win this game. And I think, we've got to start to see that the kind of European performances. Aberdeen will come and play us. I firmly believe that. They're going to come out and play, and I think that gives us a bit more of a chance than perhaps it will. This is the team that I would go with for Wednesday night. I don't think this is what Phil will go with. I think we'll see James Tavernier, which I think will be a massive, massive error. James Tavernier is probably the worst footballer in Europe right now. And I think, if he's played at right back, they will relentlessly target him and rip him a new one. But I would go with Butland, Cass, Suter, Balogun, and Hjefte as the back four or back five. Barron and Raskin as the two. Cheney, Bayrami. I'd play Lovelace. I really would. Look, at the moment, Bayrami looks lost on the left. Dio's not a 10. Lawrence is not. He's not fit. So I would go with Bayrami in the 10. Push Lovelace out onto the left wing. Look, whatever we think about Cyril Dessers, and I'll be honest with you, I don't think the guy's fit to wear the shirt. I don't. I think he's an absolute disaster of a footballer. I think he's an absolute joke of a footballer. But we've got to play Dessers because there's no one else. Danio's not fit. Igman's not ready to start. There is only Dessers, and that's just a sad indictment of the club's recruitment policy. It really genuinely is. You know, a guy who hasn't scored for 6-7 games now, a guy who's more interested in throwing himself on the ground rather than actually contributing, a guy who's more interested in actually moaning at referees than he is actually doing anything useful with his life. Look, Dessers is an embarrassment. I really hope that we can move him on in January. I mean, I genuinely cannot stand the guy. But look, I think that'll have to be the team because, like I said, there is, you know, in certain positions, no other options. You know, there is no Cortez, there is no Matondo, there is no fully fit Danio, there is an Igman who's not ready to start yet. So I think we've got a bit hamstrung there. But look, I think he'll start Tav at right back, which I think is a massive, massive error. I think they'll target Tav and rip him a new one. But, you know, hey, who am I to argue with the Belgian genius? Whatever. Okay, guys, let me know what you think of what we've covered in this video. Thank you so much for watching Glasgow Rangers Nation, guys. As always, on the way out, you can smash the like, smash the sub, ring the bell, drop a comment, do all that great stuff. But remember always, we are the